If Busta ever try to front on me, hit you with no delay. So what you saying, yo? Silly with that 9 milli, what the devil, yo? Yeah, I do his better than him. He better not play with me. I will and perform Busta Rhymes show. Cause look, man, if they try to say that if you ever thought that the Busta Rhymes was better than me, you crazy. You crazy, man. You just looking at this the wrong way.
I want to do it how he do it. I see the way I do it. I want to see the breath control everything. I want to do it. No, that's when when I'm in the shower. I'm Busta Rhymes. That's not how I do it in the shower. Now, hit you with nothing to answer what you say, yo. Sitting with the ice cream, with the dilly, yo.
I'm not the only one out here that has ever said anything about Busta Rhymes liking his to allegedly be busted open. They tell you a lot of stuff, and he told me personally that Busta Rhymes courted him. Not only courted him, got him an apartment.
You think we having fun now? I'm gonna bust your ass. If you take that out, Playboy, you better get to work. Stop running your trap with me. You got that you need to do to prepare for that. Holla back, homie.
What if I told you 50 Cent's explosive new documentary on Diddy isn't just exposing Puffy's secrets, but it's about to drag Busta Rhymes into the spotlight too? Industry insiders claim there's hidden footage linking Busta directly to Diddy's wildest parties, and now the entire hip-hop world is buzzing. Is 50 about to end another rap legend's career with these shocking receipts, or is Busta ready to fight back? Let's break down the truth behind the rumors before it all blows up. Busta Rhymes may have just walked himself straight into one of the biggest mistakes of his career. For years, he's been seen as one of hip-hop's elder statesmen, a figure who commands respect on stage, with a larger-than-life personality and an unmistakable voice. But after whispers began circulating that 50 Cent had leaked some of his unreleased music, Busta didn't sit back quietly. Instead, he decided to confront 50 directly, and that's where the real problems began. In hip-hop, conflicts and rivalries aren't new. They're practically part of the culture. Artists test one another, throw jabs, and sometimes even use beef to sharpen their competitive edge. But what makes this particular clash stand out is that it's not just about bars, bravado, or even music sales. This time, the spotlight is on something much bigger, according to multiple insiders. When Busta approached 50, it wasn't some quiet behind-the-scenes conversation. He didn't try to settle things in private, man-to-man. Instead, the moment turned public, and 50, being the master of trolling and humiliation that he is, seized the opportunity. Rather than calming the situation, 50 flipped it into entertainment, openly mocking Busta and turning what could have been a minor dispute into a public spectacle. If there's one thing people should know about 50 by now, it's that he thrives in these situations. He doesn't just survive controversy, he engineers it, flips it, and weaponizes it. But here's where it gets more complicated. This isn't just another rap beef. There's an entire documentary project looming in the background, and that's what's giving this feud a dangerous edge. 50 Cent has been working on a Netflix docuseries that promises to expose some of the industry's darkest secret stories about power, exploitation, and the hidden truths behind hip-hop's biggest moguls. Word is, it digs deep into Diddy's alleged double life, and along the way, it may be pulling in names that no one expected. And now, Busta Rhymes' name is suddenly being dragged right into the middle of it. To make matters even more chaotic, Orlando Brown has entered the conversation. For those who know his history, Orlando is no stranger to controversy. He has made headlines for years with bizarre interviews and explosive claims about celebrities. Some people dismiss him as unreliable, while others argue that he knows far more than people give him credit for. Either way, his involvement in this unfolding saga is making it even harder to separate fact from speculation, with Orlando throwing out names and hinting at connections. The narrative around Busta has become murkier than ever. From the outside looking in, what seems like a simple clash over leaked music is now starting to resemble a domino effect that could topple reputations. And if there's anyone capable of pulling strings behind the scenes to maximize damage, it's 50 Cent. His track record speaks for itself. This is the same man who exposed Ja Rule in such a devastating way that Ja never truly recovered. This is the same man who has turned online trolling into an art form, strategically using memes, interviews, and now film projects to destroy opponents. When 50 sets his sights on someone, history has shown it rarely ends well for them. So why is Busta so vulnerable in this moment? For starters, the timing couldn't be worse. While he's undeniably a legend with a long career, Busta doesn't have the same level of airtight support system around him that other hip-hop giants might enjoy. 50, on the other hand, has cultivated influence not only in music but in television, film, and digital media. He has platforms, audiences, and credibility that amplify his voice in ways most rappers simply can't compete with. If 50 decides to weave Busta into this documentary, it's not going to look like a rap beef, it's going to look like evidence. And once the public perceives something as evidence, it's nearly impossible to shake that image, whether true or not. And let's not ignore the deeper layers at play here. The hip-hop industry has always had its share of rumors and hidden narratives. Whispers about private parties, questionable alliances, and double lives have floated around for decades. But rarely do they come to light in a polished, mainstream production. What 50 is doing with this Netflix project is unprecedented. He's taking years of gossip and hearsay and potentially putting it in front of a global audience with the weight of documentary storytelling behind it. That makes the stakes far higher than a Twitter back and forth or an Instagram meme. This is exactly why Busta's reaction has been so intense. He knows that even the suggestion of being connected to certain stories could be damaging. Once your name is mentioned in the same breath as some of the darker rumors tied to Diddy and his circle, the court of public opinion rarely shows mercy. Whether there's footage, testimony, or simply speculation, the association alone is enough to plant seeds of doubt in fans' minds. And those seeds can grow into narratives that completely overshadow a career. What makes the situation even more ironic is that Busta, not long ago, was giving 50 his flowers, publicly praising his success and acknowledging his cultural impact. That's why this sudden turn feels so jarring to fans. What happened between that praise and this confrontation? The answer seems to be tied directly to 50's documentary work. If he stumbled across receipts, footage, or testimony that implicated Busta in ways that go beyond music, it explains why the tone shifted so drastically. And then there's the Orlando Brown factor again. Every time Orlando's name pops up, things spiral into chaos. His claims may be unverified, but they spread like wildfire online. In the social media era, perception spreads faster than facts, and narratives can take on lives of their own. Orlando hinting that Busta's tied to some of Diddy's most controversial stories only adds gasoline to the fire. Whether true or exaggerated, once the rumor cycle kicks in, it's nearly impossible to stop. The bigger question now is, how will Busta respond? Threats, if the reports are accurate, aren't helping his case. If anything, they're backfiring, making him look defensive and adding legitimacy to 50's narrative. In the eyes of fans, if someone lashes out too hard, it often makes it seem like they have something to hide, and 50 knows this better than anyone. Every time Busta reacts, 50 can spin it as confirmation that he hit a nerve. The hip-hop world is watching closely because this situation isn't just about two rappers throwing shots. It's about power, control of the narrative, and the ability to weaponize media in a way we've never quite seen before. If 50 successfully drags Busta into this documentary and ties him to Diddy's alleged secrets, it could set a new precedent for how beefs play out in the streaming era. No longer confined to diss tracks or Instagram posts, the battleground has expanded into full-blown documentaries, with global reach and mainstream legitimacy. In the end, one thing is clear. What started as whispers about a leaked track has snowballed into a potentially career-defining moment for Busta Rhymes. Whether or not the worst rumors prove true, the fact that his name is entangled in this storm is already doing damage. And with 50 Cent steering the ship, history suggests that the ride is only going to get bumpier from here. So yes, Busta's confrontation may have seemed like a bold move in the moment, but in reality, it may have been the exact mistake that locked him into 50's narrative for good. And once 50 Cent writes you into his story, it's almost impossible to rewrite yourself out.
Besides, I'm not playing when it comes to respectfully competing. I will bust your for real, bro, and I'm gonna bust your at any given point in time you feel like you ready to revisit this, if you just so happen to choose to revisit this. The world hasn't seen you bow out gracefully from even entertaining this idea, so I'm not even gonna continue to elaborate on that. But moving on, brother. I was asked if, as a New York MC, the opportunity presented itself for me to do a versus with you, would I take on the opportunity to do that? Of course I'm going to accept that with grace, open arms, and welcome it in the most warm fashion I'm supposed to. Now, just for the record, brother, I don't even gotta do no competition with you with any record of mine prior to the day that you released your first single. I could just go to that one section of my catalog and deal with you accordingly and bust. That's it. That's it, man. Hey, man. Hey, man.
That's how I can, folks.
Come on.
Once upon a time, 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes seemed to be on solid terms, sharing stages, sharing laughs, no friction in sight. But the vibe has shifted. Tension has been simmering beneath the surface, and the rumored leak might have pushed things to the edge. Busta's recent show of support for Diddy on live television only added more fuel to the fire. Word is, he confronted 50 after catching wind that his name could appear in 50's upcoming documentary, one that digs into Diddy's alleged double life. So what's really happening here? Why is Busta so unsettled by the possibility of being featured in this footage? And did 50 actually just pull the curtain back on another closeted rapper? For years, Busta has tossed subtle shots at 50, posturing like he's the bigger star. But when it comes down to numbers and influence, the contrast is undeniable. Get Rich or Die Trying didn't just sell, it became a cultural earthquake, moving 13 million copies worldwide and cementing itself as one of hip-hop's all-time bestsellers. On the other hand, Busta's debut, though respected, managed 209,000 copies, its first week a respectable start, but not even close to the same stratosphere.
Fifth, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna give it up to you. The production on your show, incredible. Light show, incredible. The dances, incredible. The outfit changes, incredible. Significant improvement since the way you used to perform back in the day.
Like, looking like you fanning a fart is a better performance than Busta Rhymes. You out your rabbit. Keep fanning the fart. Keep fanning the fart. Hey, yo, what you say, Split? F50, fanning the fart Ferrari. F50, break it down. Fan it down.
For years, 50 let Busta's sly remarks roll off his back, brushing aside the shade without ever firing back. But that patience has run its course. Now, 50 isn't laughing it off anymore because whatever he's uncovered about Busta isn't just petty drama. It's a game changer.
Week. Worldwide. 840,000 tickets sold in 1 week. 840,000 tickets in 1 week. No, hold up. Stop. Sold 675,000 tickets before the first show in 4 days.
That's because I've been out of the country.
He was hitting me 3 days in a row. Like, he hit me the first day. No, hold on, he hit me the first day. Hey, yo, Bus, we sold 2.
I've never been on a tour for 5 months. We did the first show July 21st. My last show was November 21st. He's still on that same tour.
Yeah, man.
He don't play with that work. Ever since he first came to Violator and the first Get Rich or Die Trying came out, he was the only one that would jump on a plane like the cab.
Right. Go get it.
That got no problem flying 20 hours somewhere and coming back home the next day. This is how he was from the beginning. So being on that tour and being able to do all of those antics every night, the way it was received.
Busta has never been shy about making noise, but now that 50 Cent is digging into his past, the narrative is shifting in ways Busta never saw coming. And let's be clear, this goes far beyond music. The real reason for his panic. Busta stands on shaky ground when it comes to alliances. In a culture built on crews and connections, 50 has long noticed that Busta doesn't have many solid friends backing him up. His history tells the story: burned bridges, strained relationships, and a reputation that left him isolated. That lack of support is showing now more than ever, especially as 50 starts piecing together receipts. Even the few allies Busta can still claim aren't exactly the kind of names you want attached to you when the truth starts spilling. And here's the kicker. 50% has already teased that Busta skeletons reach deep into Diddy's inner circle. If there's one thing about 50%, it's that he doesn't throw accusations lightly if he speaks on it. He's got the evidence. That's why this situation has taken such a messy turn. Not too long ago, Busta was busy praising 50, giving him his flowers. Now, the tone has flipped, and the pressure is closing in fast.
For Busta, because I bodyguarded for Ghostface Killer before. You feel me? And being around him, you hear things, you feel me? I'm like, damn. And my auntie like the biggest Busta Rhymes fan, you feel me? Like every cookout she playing it, all his little fast rapping, all of that, him and Craig Mack playing that. Bro, on my soul, I'm out with a group of people. At this time, I was with Don Benjamin. You familiar with him?
No, never heard of him.
Model dude, like a model guy. He be doing like some rapping and stuff. His name Don Benjamin. I'm out with Don Benjamin, and the club we ended up going to, Busta Rhymes in there. So it was a little lawyer guy that was with us. And the little lawyer guy we was with, you know, he was a gay dude, super cool, feel me, good guy. Bro, Busta Rhymes wanted him in his section so bad. Like, what? Pulled him to the section, like through the rope, and tucked him off in the corner. So I'm looking like, well, he ain't come with us. But I know he was in the little group. So if I go out with somebody, like a group of people, I try to make sure everybody get there together and leave together. No, he stayed with them. He stayed in there with them, bro. For sure, bro. You ain't never heard about this before, have you? Bro, this common knowledge, bro. Like, if you in the mix, bro. If you in the mix, like I've been in the mix, you know this, bro.
How long has it been like this known about Busta Rhymes?
Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
How can we think nobody else speaks up on it or says anything?
Because, bro, these people admire these people so much. They want to make sure they in the section, they at the club, they at the video shoot, they can get backstage. That matters most to them. That matters so much to people. It's crazy. Like, but if you notice, like, it's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls. This girl touched him one time, he go crazy, throw a drink on her and everything. See what I'm saying?
What once felt like playful sparring between 50 Cent and Busta Rhymes has now spiraled into something far more personal. Not long ago, Busta was even applauding 50's achievements. So what caused the sudden shift? Word is, 50 stumbled across information that cut deeper than casual competition, and, at the center of it all, is Diddy. This isn't just chatter on the block. Insiders insist there's something very real in play. According to reports, Busta is furious because 50 may have obtained incriminating footage that links him directly to Diddy's notorious party scene, with 50 preparing to drop a documentary exposing the darker side of Diddy's world. The possibility of Busta being caught on camera has him scrambling, adding fuel to the fire. Busta's former bodyguard, known as Big Homie CC, has already gone public with some damaging claims. He alleges that for years, promoters catered to Busta's hidden lifestyle, setting up VIP encounters behind closed doors. If true, those stories could be devastating on their own, but with 50 hinting that he has actual receipts to prove it. The stakes have never been higher.
New York City, going to a club. It was Halloween weekend, everybody was out. And it was this party we was going to, me, my boy, and his friend that had came in from Detroit. Friend that had came in from Detroit. And I'm walking across the street and Busta Rhymes just grabbed my hand. And he holding my hand. Now I ain't know it was Busta at first. Busta Rhymes tall. I'm sure I came up to about right here. So the first thing I noticed was this big flip mode chain that was blinding me. So I look at the chain and I look up, I'm like, oh, what's up, Busta? What's up? Now he holds my hand the whole time. I'm like, what's up, man? He like, what you doing? And I was like, oh, me and my people, we about to go to this club around the corner. What's up, man? And then I noticed throughout my peripheral vision, the side eye, this big bodyguard in black. Just standing there, looking around, looked at me, you know, still looking around. Meanwhile, Busta still got my hand in his hand. And he says, you know, I'm about to go in this club. You know, we got a section. You know, you can come in with me if you want. And I'm like, word, for real? Like, that's what's up. Like, he was like, yeah. I was like, well, I gotta, you know, tell my people. I was like, I come in, you know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, just let me know, you know, tell them that you coming in there to meet with me and come on up. And I was like, bet. So, of course, I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes is one of my favorite artists of all time. And back then, I was really on my rap-ish, trying to get on. And I mean, what better way to network? Busta just invited me up to a section. So I'm excited, you know, but I still kept it cool. You know, I ain't no groupie. So I walk away and I tell my dude, you know, I was like, you know who that was?
Big Homie didn't hold back. He confirmed that Busta had a pattern of bringing random men from the streets into his section and entertaining them there. And according to insider whispers, there's even more damaging material out there. Reports point to footage from one of Diddy's infamous parties, allegedly capturing Busta and Diddy caught up in a wild scene with multiple men, some believed to be former workers on Diddy's payroll. But it doesn't end there. Several men have since come forward, claiming Busta made unwanted advances toward them. They describe run-ins where he persistently tried to pull them into the same kind of party lifestyle Diddy was known for. To make matters worse, even Orlando Anderson has hinted that he shared moments with Busta in the past, adding yet another layer of controversy to the unfolding story.
With Puffy, I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sodomized me. Like he sodomized me. I was like, yo, look, I could find other things to do for money. Did you see him? I could find other things to do for money. But I'm not sure I can say that for money. Like somebody pushed me into a truck.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like if this is a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil, I can say it.
You still had to black his face out. You still had to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his voice wasn't even that different.
And that a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
I almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah, that's Buck. I'm trying to get money right.
Yo, you can't say the dudes are having other dudes, bro. I think that might come for you.
Yeah, you
Yo,
say sweet love.
Yeah, you gotta say make sweet love.
That's
young buck breaking right there.
Make sweet love.
There's rules to rap beef now, bro. Not in your day.
Well, I'm saying like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of there? Look like you guys just made sweet love. I'm gonna say sweet love instead of anything that says.
To me, that's better because they're gonna try to make it something else. You know what I mean?
You have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, you know, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy. I mean,
but I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated. So
was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You go to the 90s, and Keefy D said they paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah.
It's a little, like, you get the craziest accusations. You had TMZ created a docuseries, they went to Tubi, but the series is saying the downfall of Diddy.
You're one of the first persons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that, to be able to call people out. I mean, which is pretty amazing. You're kind of, in some ways, draining the swamp of Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way, according to them. You know, and look, if I didn't have an award-winning director doing it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly.
Orlando Brown once went on one of his infamous rants, claiming Busta Rhymes' name was tied up with all kinds of wild stories, everything from airport run-ins to rumors about industry hookups. The claims sounded outrageous, but in hindsight, they only added fuel to suspicions that had been circulating for years. And here's where 50 Cent comes in. He had always suspected something about Busta but never pressed the issue. For the longest time, 50 respected Busta's hustle and didn't see the point in stirring unnecessary drama. But if you know 50, you know he never truly lets anything go. He has a way of throwing shade without ever spelling it out, just enough to keep people wondering. Take the Humor and Harmony Comedy Fest, for example. Before even stepping on stage with Busta, 50 was already poking fun at him. He joked that Busta might show up in that infamous yellow leather outfit from the 1999 MTV VMAs. To drive it home, 50 posted the photo online with a caption basically banning Busta from wearing it, saying he better come dressed sharp for Shreveport. Busta didn't stay quiet. Instead of a direct clapback, he leaned into trolling, sharing an AI-edited photo of 50 rocking a ridiculous bob haircut. His caption, a playful jab about Father's Day and a warning not to let him catch 50 prepping in the mirror like that. At the time, it all looked like lighthearted back-and-forth banter, the kind of jokes they'd always exchanged. But looking back now, those playful digs might not have been jokes at all. Knowing what 50's been digging up lately, it's starting to seem like he was serious the entire time. Right now, Busta Rhymes looks like he could be the next one to face full exposure, and the timing couldn't be worse for him. With 50 Cent hard at work producing a Netflix documentary that promises to shine a spotlight on some of the most controversial secrets in hip-hop, the last thing Busta needed was his name attached to the project. Yet, instead of laying low and letting the rumors fade, Busta chose to confront 50 Head. Reports suggest he even threatened him, an act that, rather than silencing the situation, has probably secured him an even bigger role in the narrative 50 is building. The truth is, 50 has always been a master of storytelling through controversy. His career is filled with examples of him flipping rivalries into narratives that benefit him while leaving his opponents in the dust. Think back to his long-standing war with Ja Rule, a feud that escalated from diss tracks to public mockery, and eventually to 50 outright dismantling Ya's credibility in the industry. By the time the smoke cleared, Ja Rule's career had never fully recovered, while 50 had cemented himself as a cultural powerhouse. That same playbook seems to be unfolding here, only this time, the stakes are much higher. Why higher? Because this isn't just another mixtape, beef, or a war of words on social media. This involves a documentary series and entire production backed by Netflix. That means polished storytelling, archival footage, insider testimony, and millions of viewers around the globe. It's one thing to exchange barbs in interviews or songs. It's another to have your name and image tied to allegations in a docuseries. Once something like that is out there, it tends to stick in the public's memory. At first, many fans didn't take 50's jabs at Busta too seriously. Some assumed it was just promotion for a possible tour, maybe even an upcoming collaboration. Hip-hop thrives on tension, and artists often lean into beef as a way to generate headlines. To the casual observer, it could have looked like just another case of two veterans stirring the pot for relevance. After all, both Busta and 50 are seasoned performers who understand the value of controversy. But as more details surfaced, it became clear this wasn't a staged stunt. The tone of 50's actions shifted from playful clowning to deliberate exposure. He began dropping hints, pointing toward receipts, and tying Busta's name to the broader investigation he's conducting into Diddy's infamous parties and alleged secret dealings. For Busta, this was no longer about music, it was about being dragged into a much darker narrative, one that could tarnish his reputation permanently. What makes this even more dangerous for Busta is the way 50 operates. Unlike many artists who lash out impulsively, 50 is strategic. He doesn't just troll for fun, he trolls with a purpose. Every meme, every Instagram caption, every interview snippet is a piece of a bigger puzzle he's building. By the time the full picture is revealed, whether in the form of a diss track, a business move, or now a documentary, the audience already feels primed for the conclusion. That's why his feuds tend to be so devastating. He doesn't just argue, he constructs narratives that make his rivals look small, dishonest, or irrelevant. For Busta, the problem is compounded by his history. While he's an undeniable legend with an iconic discography and unforgettable performances, he doesn't necessarily have the strongest network of allies in today's industry. Over the years, he's had falling outs, burned bridges, and distanced himself from key players. That leaves him relatively isolated at a time when he needs support the most. When an artist has strong allies, they can push back against narratives, defend them publicly, and create counterstories. But when those allies are scarce, the target becomes much easier to hit. And then there's the public perception factor. In 2025, hip-hop fans are sharper than ever, but also more susceptible to narratives once they're framed as receipts. Social media thrives on exposing celebrities, and platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram can amplify a rumor until it feels like fact. If 50 positions Busta as part of a larger expose, fans are unlikely to give him the benefit of the doubt. Even if the allegations are exaggerated or taken out of context, the damage to his image could be permanent. In the court of public opinion, perception often outweighs reality. Adding another layer of intrigue is the Orlando Brown factor. Orlando's name being connected to this saga has only muddied the waters further. While some dismiss his claims as outrageous, others believe his ramblings contain kernels of truth, regardless of where the truth lies. His involvement has given people even more reason to speculate about Busta's connection to Diddy and those infamous parties. In the social media age, once multiple sources of an unreliable ones begin pointing in the same direction, fans start to believe there must be something there. The irony in all of this is that Busta and 50 didn't always stand on opposite sides. There was a time when Busta publicly praised 50, acknowledging his massive impact on the culture. That's what makes this turn of events so shocking to many fans. To go from giving flowers to being targeted in a potential expose suggests something significant shifted behind the scenes. And if the speculation is correct, that shift may have come when 50 discovered information that tied Busta to Diddy's shadowy reputation. So what happens next? If history is any guide, Busta's threats and defensive stance will only feed into 50's strategy. Every time Busta reacts, 50 will use it as evidence that he struck a nerve. Every defensive move will be reframed as desperation. And once the documentary drops, Busta's story won't be told from his perspective, it will be filtered through 50's lens. Edited, narrated, and packaged for global consumption. This is why so many fans are realizing this isn't just hip-hop drama. It's a power play, and 50 is operating on a completely different level. Where others see beef as a temporary skirmish, 50 sees it as a stage for storytelling, branding, and dominance. And unfortunately for Busta, he may have just walked straight into the spotlight at the worst possible time. What began as whispers about leaked music is now spiraling into something far bigger, a potential career-defining moment. And if 50 Cent's track record is anything to go by, this won't end with a few jokes online. It will end with receipts, narratives, and the kind of exposure that Busta may never be able to outrun.